Let's get it, man. So, we got another preview review vid. So, week 13, man. Recap review. So Ass Nation Part 2 trying to come back on my squad in one category. Maybe I would say about two categories at the most. So yeah, the best he could do is lose 7-3 to my squad. So looks like we're gonna get the W over Ass Nation Part 2, and yeah, man. Next match, that's what it is for that my squad matchup. The next matchup we got 808 Team Mello versus Buzz City Buns. Buzz City Buns trying to come back in. Maybe only one category. So best Buzz City Buns could do is probably 5-5. Other than that, Mello like he could win. Wow, he could possibly win 10-0 and come back in all these categories. This is Sunday. Maybe assist would be the hardest one for. Yeah, this one category would be the hardest one for him to come back in. So, Buzz City Bums couldn't get the upset on Team Don. Not gonna be able to get the upset on 808 Team Don Mello. It looks like, for sure. And we got D's Nuts versus 420 V2 69. D's Nuts trying to come back in one category, two categories, three. Yeah, you could come back in about close to three. Yeah, close to three categories you could come back in, and maybe switch it to 6-3 his favor. But yeah, it should be. Yeah, we go see if he could come back in that. And this may be his first loss in a while. As been holding down the number one seed, and he might concede the number one ranking to 808 Team Mello. Possibly, yeah, if he doesn't come back in those categories. Team Alexander versus Ass City. Ass City trying to come back in one category, two categories. About two categories you could come back in. So best you could do is tie it up 5-5. So it looks like Team Alexander gonna, stay, deep in the playoff house, trying to get, home court advantage that first round of the playoffs. And Ass City, who was the runner-up last season, you go moving farther from the playoff house. So yeah, that's what it is. And then we got Orlando Pride versus Taylor Swift Down Under. Orlando Pride trying to come back in and avoid the upset. And maybe about only one category you could come back in. So I'm pretty sure this is the worst Orlando Pride teams played in a while. Lost to the number 15 seed. So yeah, this is one of the biggest upsets we've had in a minute in the league. And yeah, it looks like Orlando Pride not gonna be able to come back in. Maybe only one, and that might be even tough to come back in that one category. And yeah, it looks like Taylor Swift's gonna get the W in the upset over Orlando Pride squad. And we got Fantasy Savage versus Me Too Movement. Me Too Movement looking like he's close to a dime blowout, and he could possibly get it. Wow, Fantasy Savage, his number one draft pick went out, and I think he just came back actually towards the end of this week. But of course he had him out, and yeah, man, it's like, wow, like his other players didn't step up to fill in for him not having his number one player to losing like this, and pretty sure that should push him, Fantasy Savage, back to last place possibly. Because it look like he can't come back in any categories. He could possibly win 2. Then we got John's Blockheads versus Buckingham. Buckingham, can he win it? John Blockheads could come back in maybe 1 category, only 1. So yeah, it looks like Buckingham most likely gonna win it or tie, but yeah, so Buckingham and John's Blockheads gonna be right there in the 4 or 5 slot, within the playoff house right now. Not too deep in, but not too close to the playoff house, door. Whereas kids like Target's Goons waiting outside and Hold You Fat, but he Hold You Fat way far out for the, not even close to the outside the playoff house door window. He like almost a city, the next state over right now at 16th place. But yeah, Hold You Fat, he could come back in maybe 1 category, maybe 2. Yeah, I think he gonna come back in 2, maybe 3 at the most, but most likely 2 categories. And yeah, so either he come back in those 1, 2, or even 3 categories, and maybe switch to 6-4 his way, or it could be tied up. Or my Target's Goons, can he win any other categories that he's losing? Maybe 1. So maybe he could win 7-3 at the best, but yeah, that's about it. We'll see. Yeah, that's it. To wrap up, Hold You Fat will, either way, he'll remain in last place, and maybe Fantasy Savage might take his last place spot. But yeah, we'll see how it go, and let's go to the preview for week 14. I think we only got 14 more weeks. Only 4 more weeks of fantasy, man. 4 more week matchups, but one of the weeks is a 2-week thing. Alright, so week preview 14, my squad versus Buckingham squad. Okay, so I think Buckingham guy has KD. Oh man, I'm not sure who his other main players are, but we'll see, man. Yeah, this is gonna be a good test for my squad since Buckingham, squad has been playing decent for most of the season, decent enough to, have a playoff seeding. So yeah, we definitely try to, comfort, get this W, and even, go for a dime blowout for next week, week 14. Then we got, we'll come back to that. Buzz City Bums versus Team Alexander. Yeah, that's gonna be another decent matchup. I think Buzz City Bums gonna be. Is he coming off the L? Yeah, I think he is. Team Alexander coming off the W. So yeah, we'll see if Buzz City Bums could. That'd be a interesting matchup to see if he could, compete with a higher seeded team than his, and try to see what his team could do against a higher seeded team. And 420 Vitor 69 versus Orlando Pride. Orlando Pride coming off of a L, and 420 I think will be coming off of either a W over the number 1 seed, or a tie, or maybe even a slight L. But I think he most likely gonna tie or get the W on that against the number 1 seed. So now he's playing another top team in the league right now. So let's see if 420 Vitor can get another W over one of the top teams in the league in the standings. Then we got Ad City versus Fantasy Savage. Yeah, both of them trying to get out of the. Yeah, Fantasy Savage, I know definitely gonna be trying to, get the dime blowout on Ad City to, keep his get back, because that could, a dime blowout for Fantasy Savage against Ad City, even though he in last place, that could possibly put him back in the hunt for the playoffs. Yeah. So we'll see, and they'll have his number one draft pick should be back. Yeah, ready. So we'll see. That should be a decent matchup. Then we got Taylor Swift Down Under versus John's Blockhead. Taylor Swift Down Under. See if he could, pull off the W on one of the worst teams in the league against one of the best teams in the league according to the standings right now. And yeah, so what's the Taylor Swift Down Under? I think he did decent against a playoff type team or a team that's more so in the playoff hunt. And now he's facing John's Blockhead, so we'll see another team that's within the thick of the playoff hunt right now for a top home court advantage, one of the top seeds. And let's hit Taylor Swift Down Under, cause even him too. Yeah, Taylor Swift Down Under, one dime blowout, 10-0 win, and he in the thick of the playoff hunt, closer to getting in the playoff house. And then Me Too Movement versus a Whole You Fat. So Me Too Movement coming off the blowout W